Hey everyone, I'm Samantha Hyrick and I am the founder of Applicant's Best Friend. Thanks so much for tuning in today. Sorry about our Facebook Live video. We were having some technical difficulties with our Wi-Fi here. But today we're going to talk about summer internships and why applying early is going to help you big time. It's going to set you up for success. So first of all, summer internships can change your life and they often lead to a job down the road. First question is, why should I intern? You're going to learn about a job that you might want to have in the future, most likely post-grad. You're either going to love it, you're going to hate it, or you're going to be indifferent. It's a great way to figure out if you're going to like it or if this is the right thing for you to do. It's better to figure it out now than to be in your first job and not be happy or find out that you want to switch fields. You're going to learn how offices in the real world work. You're going to develop skills like writing, communication, teamwork, and research skills, all of which you probably are working on at school, but you'll have it in a professional setting as well. You're going to grow and develop professionally. You're going to learn how to network, and what's really important is that you build a strong group of supporters who can help you find your next internship or your next job. So what are you doing this summer? Your family and your friends probably have started asking this. Usually around the holidays, that's when people start thinking about it. You might think that January seems like it's too early to start thinking about a summer internship and applications, but it's not. It's actually the perfect time. So as an intern coordinator myself, intern applicants that turn in their materials early already have impressed me. So what does turning in your materials early mean and why is it important? First of all, the intern coordinator immediately is going to think three things. First, this person is organized. Second, this person is on top of things. And third, they're very serious about my internship program. So early submission means that there are fewer spots that are already filled and you're going to get more attention from your intern coordinator. The earlier you turn in your materials, the better. Early on in the application process, as I mentioned, there are fewer applications that are submitted and there are fewer spots that are filled. This means that the person who's reviewing your materials is going to spend more time actually looking at your resume, reading your cover letter, maybe a writing sample, whatever else is part of the application materials. So the more time that an intern coordinator can spend looking at your materials, the better, because they can identify your strengths and they get to know you better. Next, early interviews. You're going to know much earlier if you even made it to this step. And if you interview and you get it, great. You've really set yourself up for success. You already know what you're going to do this summer. It's one less thing to worry about. And it's going to be so much easier to find housing if you need to move or find somewhere to live for the summer. And it's going to be much less expensive than trying to find last-minute housing. And if you don't get the internship, that's okay. Just move on to the next one. Something that's really important for the beginning of the application process is to keep a spreadsheet. Either use Google Docs or a spreadsheet, just an Excel spreadsheet, to keep track of where you're applying, what you need to submit, what you've already submitted, what the deadlines are, and you also can keep track of your interviews. A really important component of an internship application is a letter of recommendation. Letters of recommendation can really help you or they can really hurt you. So it's important to put some serious thought into who you're asking. First, you want to ask early. There's nothing worse than feeling rushed, and that goes for both you and whoever you're going to ask. Ask as early as possible. Give the person you're asking some time to think about what they're going to write about, and you want to give them the tools for writing a great letter. So you definitely want to send them your resume, maybe a cover letter, or just a quick paragraph that you've thrown together of why you want to do this internship. It's going to make it much easier for your intern coordinator, for the professor or whoever you're asking to write a good letter if they know why you want to do the internship. You do not want a poorly written letter just because you asked someone like a day before the deadline. It's better to turn in something late and have a better letter and risk maybe not having your application reviewed than to have some poorly written letter that can really damage your application. And that's a situation in which you could always email the intern coordinator or whoever is reviewing the applications, say there are special circumstances, I'll get you the letter tomorrow, or do you mind if I submit it to you by the end of the week? Most intern coordinators are understanding. Of course, there are some harsh deadlines as well, so keep that in mind. Just ask early and then it's not a problem. So you really need to think before you ask, like I mentioned before. You want a glowing letter of recommendation. Ask someone who really knows you and the work that you've done. I would so much rather read a letter from your supervisor at your on-campus job who really knows you and can speak to your strengths and your skills rather than a letter from like your congressman or a CEO who you don't really know, but you think that because they're important and they have an important title, that that's going to get you the internship. That leads me to my next point. Don't ask someone just because of their title. People think that a letter of recommendation from a college president or a politician or a bigwig CEO is the key to getting an internship. It certainly is not. This actually can really hurt your application. A generic letter from someone who doesn't know you is a red flag to anyone who's reading your application. Of course, if someone who falls within this category actually really knows you and is going to write you the best letter, definitely ask them. 9 times out of 10, the people you ask are going to say yes. But there is that small chance that someone is going to say no. So be ready for that. You definitely want to thank that person, whoever, they may phrase it as, oh, I don't think that I'm qualified to write your letter, or maybe you should ask someone else who can speak to your academic work or your volunteer work. I think that they would write a better letter for you. Just thank them and think critically before you ask the next person. Make it easy for your recommender. I talked about this before, but I can't emphasize this enough. When I'm writing a letter of recommendation, I want to see that person's resume, and then I want to know why they're applying to that internship. It makes it much easier for me to write a strong letter when I know what they're applying to, the name of the internship, where it is, and why they're applying. If you can, waive your right to see your letter of recommendation. Recommend that whoever is writing the letter just sends it directly to the intern coordinator. This way, your letter is much more credible and your recommender can write an honest letter without fearing that they're going to hurt your feelings. Also, when you send your resume and your short statement of why you're interested to your recommender, make it super easy for them. Think about the details. Where does it need to be submitted? What's the deadline? Does it need to be in PDF? Does it need to be in Word doc form? Finally, you need to review your application before you hit send or submit. A slew of typos or spelling mistakes or not changing the name of an internship program is a really big no-no. And to me, as an intern coordinator, it makes me seem like this person does not pay attention to details, and I don't want an intern like that. So avoid embarrassment and a potential missed opportunity by reviewing everything before you hit submit. Another big pet peeve of mine personally is when people don't save their application as one document, or they don't save it with their name. They just save it as Summer Internship 2018 application. Make sure that you're saving your application as one PDF with the name of your document as your first name, then your last name, Summer 2018 Internship application. Letters of recommendation obviously are the exception to this rule, as sometimes recommenders are actually submitting them just directly to the intern coordinator. You don't want your application to not be reviewed because it isn't complete, or you forgot to submit a component just because it's saved as something random, or you just forgot to submit it. Don't waste the intern coordinator's time. Just make it super easy for them. You want to set yourself up for the best chance to get this internship. The other thing is you don't want to be bugging the intern coordinator all the time about asking what's next. Submit your stuff and understand that you've submitted it early, which is good, and likely they'll reach out when they're ready to schedule you for an interview or to let you know that you didn't make it to the next round. You really don't want the intern coordinator to be bugging you for materials. Yikes, that's super embarrassing and it wastes everyone's time. There's nothing worse than just having a really qualified candidate who's missing one letter of recommendation or can't remember to submit their resume, and then I can't review and process their application and offer them an interview. So make sure that you're reviewing everything, you're asking your recommenders early for your letters, and that everything is set and done. Relieve some stress and start the semester strong by thinking about where you're going to intern this summer. Make sure to tune in next time for how to pick what internships you should apply to. See you next time.